What if I told you that the single most powerful tool for resetting your brain and body health is something you already do every single night? In this explainer, we're diving deep into sleep and how mastering it might just be the best anti-aging strategy there is. And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from the incredible sleep scientist Dr. Matt Walker really says it all. Sleep isn't just about rest. It's an active, powerful, and frankly, non-negotiable process for keeping us healthy and young. So, what's really going on when you close your eyes? Well, it's not like you just flip an off switch. It's actually more like a carefully choreographed journey that your brain takes, a journey that repeats itself all night long. And the basic rhythm of that journey is the 90-minute sleep cycle. This is the bedrock of your night. Your brain is constantly cycling between these two very different states, a deep, physically restorative state called non-REM sleep, and that fascinating, dream-filled state we all know as REM sleep.
But here's the really crucial part. The purpose of those cycles changes as the night goes on. Think of it like a seesaw. In the first half of the night, the seesaw is tilted heavily towards deep non-REM sleep. That's for your body. Then, later on, it tips, and the second half is all about REM sleep, which is for your mind.
Let's zoom in on that first half. This is where your body gets its tune-up. Deep sleep is incredible. It acts like natural blood pressure medication. It helps regulate your metabolism, and get this, it's when your brain performs this amazing cleansing process, literally washing away toxic junk that builds up while you're awake. Now, when that seesaw tips into the second half of the night, REM sleep takes center stage. This is basically your brain's overnight therapy session. It's where you process emotions, lock in memories, and it's also when key hormones spike. So think about it. If you cut your sleep short, you're not just losing hours, you're literally robbing yourself of that critical mental and emotional restoration. You need both halves of the night.
Okay, so this whole process is a beautifully balanced journey. But what happens when we sabotage it? Well, two of the most common culprits are things a lot of us consume every single day. I'm talking about caffeine and alcohol.
You know, caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. What it really does is put on a clever disguise. Throughout the day, a chemical called adenosine builds up in your brain, making you feel sleepy. Think of caffeine as a bouncer at a nightclub door. It stands there and blocks adenosine from getting in. So you feel awake, but that sleepy adenosine, it's just piling up outside, waiting.
And that bouncer sticks around for a long time. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. So if you drink a cup of coffee at 2 in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still on duty at 8 p.m. And by the time you're trying to fall asleep, a quarter of it could still be in your system, keeping you wired.
And here's the part that's truly shocking. Even if you manage to fall asleep, that evening caffeine can slash the quality of your deep, restorative sleep by up to 30%. To put that in perspective, Dr. Walker says he'd have to age you by about 10 or 12 years to see that same kind of drop naturally. It's like you're voluntarily aging your own brain.
All right, what about that nightcap? A lot of us think it helps us sleep, but this is so important to understand. Alcohol is a sedative. It doesn't help you sleep. It knocks you unconscious. And that is not the same thing. It absolutely demolishes your sleep architecture, causing tons of tiny awakenings you won't even remember, and it viciously blocks that critical REM sleep we need for our mental health.
Okay, enough about the saboteurs. Let's talk about some potential allies for our nightly journey. We're going to look at 3 really popular supplements and break down what the science actually says.
So we'll be covering L-theanine, lion's mane, and of course, the most famous one of them all, melatonin.
First up is L-theanine. This little amino acid, which you find in green tea, isn't a sedative. It doesn't knock you out. Its job is to help you chill out by reducing stress hormones. Basically, it helps get your brain into a state that's ready for sleep.
Next, we've got lion's mane. This stuff is pretty cool because it seems to be a 2-for-1 deal. It can improve your sleep quality by lowering stress, but it's also got these amazing benefits for your brain, like supporting memory and even helping to grow new brain cells.
And now for the big one, melatonin. And honestly, Dr. Walker's analogy here is the best explanation I have ever heard. He says melatonin is like the official who fires the starting pistol at a race. It signals to your brain that it's nighttime, time for the race of sleep to begin, but it doesn't actually run in the race itself.
So if it's just the starting gun, how much does taking it as a supplement actually help you stay asleep? Well, this is where the experts are surprisingly divided.
And this is where it gets a little complicated. On one hand, you have the research that Dr. Walker cites, which says that, on average, melatonin only increases total sleep time by about 4 minutes, and the best dose is super tiny, way smaller than what you usually find in stores.
But on the other hand, you have proponents like neuroscientist Robert Love who find that higher doses can be really powerful for resetting your sleep cycle, not to mention its other benefits as an antioxidant. So the jury's kind of still out on this one.
So while supplements can be good allies, the most powerful tools you have are completely free and totally within your control. Your daily habits, your behavior, that's the real foundation of great sleep. Let's wrap up with some seriously actionable advice. And I want to ask you this question because the answer is going to sound completely wrong, but trust me, it's one of the best things you can do for your long-term sleep health. The answer? After a bad night's sleep, do nothing. That's right, don't sleep in, don't take a long nap. By sticking to your regular wake-up time and bedtime, you build up that maximum sleep pressure, which almost guarantees you'll get back on track the next night. Your routine is your anchor.
And finally, you have to prepare for sleep. You can't just go from 60 to 0 in an instant. You've got to land the plane. A simple 20-minute wind-down routine is huge, and one of the most effective tricks is a worry journal. You literally just write down everything you're worried about, effectively closing all those anxious mental tabs before you hit the pillow.
And get this, the power of that simple habit is just staggering. Studies show that just 5 minutes of this can cut the time it takes you to fall asleep in half. It's proof that the biggest changes to our sleep and to our health don't always come from a pill. They come from simple, consistent choices. The real anti-aging tool is right there for you to use. The only question is, which mental tab are you going to close tonight?